You're listening to The Bon Marie Show. It's 8 in the evening. Tune in every night at 8 to listen to The Bon Marie Show on Irish News Radio or ITV.ie. And you can contact anything that you've heard or if anything you'd like to discuss at news@irishnews.net. You're listening to The Bon Marie Show on ITV.ie and Irish News Radio. Today is Friday, so we'll be talking about immigration and open borders. I wish it was a more positive feeling today. It's really like sometimes waking up into this nightmare that I cannot believe the news and I cannot believe what I'm reading and seeing. It is scary. Pit of my stomach. It is absolutely terrifying. Right, we're going to go into what we're seeing in today's papers. So the open borders. Poland is the latest country, from Hungary, Croatia, Czech Republic, Austria, Australia, the US, who do not believe in this UN of open immigration into the West. So mainly taking African countries and flooding them down, and saying that it is a human right, and basically to destroy all our culture, all our heritage, and all our identities. In this word of what their buzzwords that they use, the leftists, the diversity and integration. What it really is takeover time. They have taken over our countries. And it is very, very scary. I go on. At least those countries are beginning to wake up. Well, unfortunately, Ireland, we're far. If we do not collapse this government, Fianna Fáil, Sinn Féin, Fine Gael, we have probably people, and I'm not joking, less than maybe maximum 5 years, but the reality is it's probably 2 years. We are heading into a very bad place. Genocide is coming. And it'll be of the backing of the Irish government. It'll be like what's happening in South Africa. Whites are being murdered by support of the Irish government. This is going to be happening here. And if you don't have a stomach for what's coming, sell your property, get out and go to one of those countries that are standing up. But unfortunately, this government, and while we don't take it down, and while the Irish are still so asleep, genocide will happen while they're still asleep. At least even in South Africa, they might have had an idea that it was happening because, this rainbow nation and stuff, even though they had I suppose the same kind of buzzwords. Theirs was called the Rainbow Nation. Ours is diversity and integration. And it's really theft of our land and our culture, our heritage. Complete theft. The only thing is for us to take to the streets and start off again. But we need to do this really fast. We are running out of so much time. I actually think it's probably even less than 2 years. It is scary. We have gone from a very proud country to a country that is completely asleep or isn't aware of what's happening in the news, and that is because of our media. I even talked to other radio stations, and they haven't even heard of what the EU were saying about it. The biggest crisis is countries not giving up their sovereignty. Our sovereignty is gone. Everything about this country is only in name, only left. And there's the guy, Tobin, who left Sinn Féin, who's trying to set up a new party. But again, it's a party and a country, 32, nice name. But he has no intention of getting Ireland independent or freedom back. It, like the rest of the parties, is in name only. Okay, he's a pro-life, and that's the only thing he is. What is the difference? Is there any point, once we get used to murder a murder of her own. It is horrific what's happening, and it's very, very scary. Ireland and Canada are both have fake leaders, and it's very, very obvious to see they're both being destroyed within. Both of them being put into place. The Irish our elections have been rigged since Lisbon too, probably even before then. But Lisbon too, they got caught footage of it because they needed to change that. And I would say ever since then, there was more people voting than lived in Ireland on the gay marriage referendum. There's been so many dodgy. They're getting better and better at hiding. In Lisbon, they got caught on video footage. On the marriage, they got the numbers wrong. On the Lisbon too, they reported the votes before they were even counted on Sky News. They're getting better at hiding it. The abortion was obviously rigged as well, but they've got that one hidden. It will come out though as well. But with the media being all together, and since it's been taken over by Dennis O'Brien, it's just totally corrupt. There is only one voice, and it is not balanced at all. It is totally one-sided, and it's on the globalisation of Ireland. Everything that's controversial is now fantastic and brilliant, as in gay marriage, abortion, refugees, is sold in the name of goodness and progressive. So, killing your child, progressive. Taking in third world migrants and putting them in who don't speak English into your country and leaving the Irish to die in the street, progressive. Gay marriage, fantastic. Instead of the normal marriage, that's boring and bad and not progressive. That's not diverse. They're racist, white supremacists who have normal marriages. Gay marriage, fantastic. The more gays, brilliant. You're progressive, Ireland. Look at all those gays, and you have a gay leader. How progressive of you. And he's pro-murder, fantastic of the baby, pro-refugee, pro-replacement of the Irish. How progressive. All a complete lie. But you're all asleep. It's a lie of the globalisation. And they are pulling Leo, the rent boy. I used to think he was a rent boy for the EU, but the EU are also rent boys for the UN. So it goes in a little line, and the UN are the one who's pulling the EU strings. The EU is just about the collapse of Europe. The UN is the collapse of the West. And make no mistakes, there is a program well underway which has killed sovereignty and national identity. Once a proud patriot country like Ireland is firmly in the firing line. And why? Because we had 800 years of fighting for identity. We had a love for our culture, our music, our language. We had our own language that we were proud of, our own dance, our own music, our own instruments, our own sports, our own culture, our own link to the past through our stories, through our sports, through our culture, through our Celtic ways and thoughts and traditions. We were so proud. We were brought up with this is who you are, and you didn't need anything else. We knew who we were. And we knew where we were going. We had that safety of knowing who our culture and identity and a love for our music and our dance and that who we were. We understood our past through our stories, through our grandparents, and understood the fight that they took on so we could be free, so we could enjoy the Irish way of life. So we never had to fear it. We never thought we'd ever have to fear it. They wrote a constitution watertight so that we would not be going through what we were going through, and through the destruction of our constitution, which has been chipped away. So there is no constitution. They wrote it watertight. They wrote it so it's Christian, so we would be protected, so nobody had the right to take our land away. And it's happened. And the genocide that they saw in the famine is on the way to us again, because of the corruption of government. And our identity has been ripped away. And everything that we know or knew of, and all our stories, all our way of life, the Irish way of life, is gone. The new buzzwords are taking place: diversity, integration, emigration are the new buzzwords. Refugees are the new, they've got the gold card, and the Irish are just dirty, useless. And by the own Irish government, the anti-Irish government, who are going to bring genocide. And within 2 years, it's well on its way. It's already in those refugee centres in Ireland. They've brought them into whatever they call them, those holding places. They're cells. And they are going to kill us through Islam and through African countries. Everything about our identity, our cultural identity, has been killed off. It's been chipped away. It's told it's no good. Sure, our dance is like any other dance, any other white supremacist dance. Our language is useless. Who speaks it anyway? Our cooking is crap. Sure, we don't have any proper cooking or proper food or bread or anything. Oh no, that's no good. Our skin is not good. It's too white. It's too pale. It's like any other white race. Anything. Our fight was nothing. Sure, it was only against another country, and sure, we were part of them anyway, and they were killing all the other poor countries. We're nothing. But these brilliant Africans coming in, they are so much better than who we are. Or these Muslims, and they're allowed to practice their religion, even if they're gang raping our children and mutilating their children. So that's diversity. That's the new gold card. That's better than anything else that we've ever achieved, is this diversity. It is so, so scary. And people, you're swallowing it. You're swallowing it. It's right in front of your eyes, and you seem to not be able to see. They are killing us. And I'm talking about killing us culturally, but the next proper killing, like they do in South Africa, is here, on its way, and it will be happening within less than 2 years. Because once they've tried to kill us culturally, and they've done a good job, a very, very good job, of putting the Irish people down, this next is to allow for this new diversity to take our homes. It's not diverse enough. They're even taking in the Gardaí. The biggest number of recruits are from Arab-speaking countries. A Muslim cleric says it's a very encouraging, the high level of interest. Yeah, no surprise. Sharia law. The battering of women and children, rape, mutilated. And who can you go to? Not the Sharia police that will be running this country under the Irish name of Gardaí. They will be not minding or guarding anything other than the protection of the diversity that they have so created, this so-called diversity, and the anti-Irish feeling and the anti-Irish racism that is growing. That is the only thing that they will be protecting. Those children that will be gang raped, they will be protected like they did in the UK. Children who've been female mutilated will be protected. The whole system will be protecting them, and anybody who speaks out about it, they're the ones who the so-called diversity police will be arresting for speaking out. It is incredible times. It's a time that I don't think most people actually would have ever dreamt that could have happened. And if you were told this, maybe even 10 years ago, that this was possible, even when we were doing the Lisbon Treaty and the Nice Treaty, so we really, we knew that this was a dangerous thing, but we didn't actually believe that it would get to where we are now. And the majority, which is really scary, Irish people, are asleep. The once so proud nation, shoulder to shoulder, who celebrated just recently in 1916 100 years of independence, has now decided to give it all away to this new diversity program. And a human right, the UN is bringing in a human right to migrate, for the Africans and people to migrate into your land. So there's no cultural identity. To break down all culture so nobody has a culture or an identity anymore. It's just all being destroyed. And a human right to have abortions, the most barbaric, up to 9 months. So murder becomes very normalised. From when you can murder a baby, murdering adults is nothing. So that's what they want. Once we get it into our head that murdering babies is okay, up to 9 months. And then even if they somehow survive the abortion, that we let them die. That they don't even have the right to be saved then. And once you can do that, then the society is easy. Once you can accept murder of those babies, killing an adult is very, very easy. Scary, scary times. Thank you for listening on the Bonry Show on itv.ie. Very depressing day, and I'm sorry that it is depressing, but it is 2 years, people. When I first started speaking out about Islam, I really believed it was Islam was the problem. And it is part of the problem, don't get me wrong, because it's so barbaric. But it's the EU and the UN that is the globalization who are behind even them. They know how barbaric it is, and that's why they want it into our countries, to destroy us and our identity and our culture, to destroy everything, so then they can take over and look like the good guys. They destroy the family unit, they destroy everything that we know of. But again, thank you for listening on the Bonry Show.
You are listening to Irish News Radio at irishnews.net. Email news@irishnews.net.